I'm Warren Sprouse. I'm having an awful time over here. You're on the Bible Forum. We're here every Sunday night from 8 to 10 p.m. We're looking at life through a biblical lens. We've had a whole mess on our hands here tonight, but I wanted to share with you some issues that have come onto the economic horizon of late. Tell you a little bit about how this plays into the biblical scenario, the biblical end times scenario. What we're learning as we go along, and I've written an article about it called The Coming Financial Meltdown. You can go online to theviewfromzoar.com and read this. But I wanted to share with you, just recently, the Federal Reserve had a meeting, I think the middle of this month of October, and they were hoping to increase the interest rates in this country, and they found themselves unable to do that. They couldn't do that without disaster following, and they're not happy about that. Now, most of us were joyful. Oh, you didn't raise the interest rates? Great. But what I'm learning now is that that's not a great thing. They need to raise the interest rate. Interest rates are at zero or thereabouts. It's not a good thing. They can't raise the interest rates until people start spending money. And people are not spending money. Now, some are. There are people who just live hand to mouth, day to day, paycheck to paycheck. They're spending money. But what the economists have learned is that Americans are either not spending money like they used to, or more particularly, they are trying to pay off their debts. And so they are spending, but they're not spending, they're not creating new anything. They're getting out of debt. And if Americans continue doing that, it becomes a death spiral. It's a death spiral because the government has indebted us beyond anything we can pay. The government has printed up money out of thin air for the last 50 years, 1972, whatever that makes it. It's fiat money. They have been doing what's called quantitative easing, which is just throwing numbers into the system. You said they put more dollars. You really think they're printing up $80 billion a month, or what is it, 80 million, whatever it is? No, it's just numbers, credits. They're buying bonds, and that's their way of getting money into the system. And this is one of the reasons that the stock market looks so good. It's up to Dow Jones, what is Dow Jones, whatever the market indicator is 17,000, 17 million or something like that. I remember, it got over 10. They said it was artificial. Now it's 17, and it's just crazy. What the experts are saying here is that we're headed toward a real serious financial crunch. Italy has already created a negative interest rate for their economy. And what that means is that it's cheaper to borrow money than it is to spend your own. Because the bet is that the money you have is going to be worth less than the money you borrowed going forward. We could get in a similar situation. They're all saying, no, that would be crazy, we can't do that. But I thought it was crazy just to spend money you didn't have, and bail out banks so that you could get down to 5 major banks in this country instead of 25 or whatever the number was. But that's exactly what we've done, and we're going to continue doing. The experts now say that the day is coming, probably not soon, but the day is coming when you will go to the bank and the doors will be locked. You will go to your ATM and it won't let you get any money. You will go to the store with your credit card or with your debit card and you will not be able to use it. And they say it's because there, and I'm doing this off the top of my head, the numbers may not be accurate, that there's like $1.5 trillion in circulation every day that changes hands every day, 1.5. But there's only $1 trillion that's actually physically available. That's all the money we have. Everything else is credits, credit card. Everything else is debits and credits, just numbers. If the day comes when this thing gets into negative numbers and we get to a certain point, there won't be enough dollars to keep it going. And so they will have to shut the banks and the ATMs down so you can't get your money out. Because if everybody went and got their money, then there wouldn't be enough. Now it sounds like 1932. What are you going to do? Well, we need to start spending money. No, that's not the solution. The solution is, not the solution, but the thing that you need to know is to, in the back of your mind, to know you shouldn't really have a lot of money sitting around in a bank. If you have a nest egg in the bank that you're counting on down the road, it'll always be there and I can go get it. The day might come when you don't have access to it. And as is 1932, when they open the bank back up again, which they will in a few days, a week, couple weeks, the money will be worth a lot less. You got $10,000, you might have two. So you ought to have some cash around that you can use. You ought not to have it all in the bank. But that's not the real solution, because if the money is devalued, what's the point? You need to have some precious metal or something else that's good trade. You go down to the gas station, fill her up. What do you got to pay with? Well, I got a $100 bill. It ain't worth enough. I'm not taking money. Well, I got a credit card. Machines don't work. Well, I got my wedding ring. I'll take it. And they'll tell you how much they'll give you for it. Well, what'd you pay for it? Oh, I paid $200 for that ring. I'll give you $50. Whatever. You got a silver dollar? Right now it's worth $16. When this happens, that $16 is going to be $40. You can get a tank of gas for $1 if it's silver. My friend Buddy says, I want to get dimes, get something smaller. That's fine. Maybe that's a good idea. Silver, gold, jewelry. I'd say take it down to the bank, put it in a safety deposit box, but that wouldn't be good. Do you know there are banks that won't let you put cash in a safety deposit box right now? Can't do it. Illegal. Won't let you do it. They want the cash in circulation. So you buy gold or you buy silver, you've put your dollars in circulation. You've made them happy, but then you've got a buffer. And I don't know what kind of buffer we need. I think in terms of $500 worth of silver to get through the hump, when they shut everything down until it starts back up again, and maybe a little bit more. But when it starts back up, the $50,000 a year job that you have is only going to have the buying power of about $5,000. And you're still going to have taxes, and you're still going to have income, food to buy, and all these other things. It's not going to be a fun time. There isn't a whole lot of solution. Unless you are wealthy enough to buy an estate up in the mountains and just have everything, in-house. You don't need anybody. But it might be good to invest in some of these emergency meal things you see advertised that are good for 30 years. Might not be a bad idea to have a month's worth of that stuff around. Might not be a bad idea to get a 5-gallon can of Cass and fill it up and just stick it out back somewhere. And maybe once a month or so, pour it into the car and go get some fresh. I don't know. It might be good to have a way to make fresh water out of junk. And maybe to make electricity. Not a lot, but some. It sounds dire, doesn't it? And so I look at the issue and I say, I don't think that that's going to happen in my lifetime, but it could. I don't think it's going to happen until the Great Tribulation, or until just as we're getting into those time periods, but it might. But whatever it is, it'll be global, and everybody will then be living on a much lower level, a lot less money. People in this country did it before, we'll do it again. But a little bit of protection, a little bit of what if and care, and maybe it won't be as bad for you. Word to the wise.